Hello, everybody out there in TV land. I'm FIDE Master Paul Whitehead. This is Abel Telementis, Director of the Mechanics Institute Chess Club, and Grandmaster Nick Firmian, Grandmaster in Residence at the Mechanics Institute Chess Club, and I'm the Chess Club Coordinator. And we're here in sunny Burlingame.
Beautiful Burlingame, California.
Yeah, for the fourth round of the U.S. Amateur Team West Championship 2020. Abel, who's leading this thing?
So this is the championship day, final two rounds.
Right.
The first round after the merge, and this is where there's a lot of separation. So with 64 teams and 266 players total, only one team's got a perfect score so far, and that was the BCS Can We Woo It, the Woo siblings. And
they were here with us yesterday.
Last night with Brian Doyle and Sani.
Rochelle wouldn't let us show her game.
Yeah, I think she lost that game.
She did lose.
Yeah, she lost that game. But, and this is the thing about the team event. Even if you lose on the top, it gives the opportunity for the bottom boards to kind of like pick yourself up and, and vice versa. You never know, what's going to happen. So, everybody chips in. So they're the only one with perfect score, and we have about 3 teams with 3.5. But, I mean, all these teams are balanced, stacked, loaded. Any one of these teams can kind of pull away and win.
And get the glory.
So there's a lot of parity with between like 5 or 6 teams that are still in contention. So I think it's going to be pretty exciting as we get to the end.
Well, Nick and I have our coffee, so we're ready for
You're for the long haul. And the thing about these team tournaments is that I think the strategy in the first few rounds is that you just want to win the match. So, whether it's 2.5, 1.5, 3 to 1, you want to get the point. But as you get into these championship rounds, now it's not really just the point. The margin of victory means a whole lot because of the tiebreakers. So frequently teams will, 2-3 teams may tie for first, but the tiebreakers factor, and one of the tiebreakers is the total match points. So where someone would normally just take a draw in a position that looks, they might have a slight advantage, but that half point gives them the match. Now it becomes, okay, that half point might give me the match, but it may not be good enough in my tiebreaker, so can I try to win it so that I can get that? So those things factor. So, whoever the team captain is, and, it's up to them to inform the team of, what's at stake. And
they need a John Donaldson or something to try to help them figure out the numbers.
Exactly. And I know Brian Doyle last year, his team fell like a half point short, like in the tie breaks.
Heartbreaking.
But he had calculated what he needed to win. Like he knew that they would need to not just win, but they needed 3 to 1 or something like that.
Right, because it doesn't just depend on what you do, it depends on what everybody else is doing in the tournament.
Right. So you look at matchups and you determine, okay, I think this other team that's competing with, for first, I think they're going to win 3 to 1 or 2.5, 1.5. Our goal should be to win 3 to 1, and you have to get everyone on the team thinking along those lines. So there's a lot of inner strategy that goes into, who wins and who loses. And, these rounds kind of bring out all the drama. But everyone that's playing on these top teams' boards, they all know that. These are all veterans of the team tournament. So, the strategy is running like crazy.
Very cool. So any, apart from the drama there, any other drama? Was there any food fights in the tournament hall?
No food fight. We did have a player yesterday. Their game was finished. They were on one of the top boards, and so now he was just observing the game, and then his phone went off in the tournament hall. So
what happens in that situation?
So what the Chief TD Tom McCumiskey did is he penalized that player 10 minutes for this round's game.
Wow.
So he started this round 10 minutes less.
What would happen if I went in there and my phone went off?
We would penalize you 30 minutes from the broadcast, which would mean everyone suffers because they don't get to hear you.
No, I'll turn my phone off.
But nothing really unusual in the games. The one thing that's happened quite a bit is players are not familiar with the time control. There was one game I was observing, again on one of the top boards, where I was watching the player. He had 1 second left, and he was moving fast. He was blitzing out. They have the 5-second delay,
Mm-hmm.
but he kept moving within that 5-second delay in a position that could have used a little bit of thought. I don't think the player realized that there was a second time control
Right.
that adds the 30 minutes. So if the clock had run to 0, 30 minutes would have automatically been added. But,
Right.
but the 40 moves 2 hours with G30 as a second time control is not a common time control.
It's old school.
Yeah,
time
it's
control.
old school, and players are not conditioned for that. So I think they forget there's a second time control. So that's kind of coming into play. This is sort of the time control that the amateur West is traditionally used, so that's what it is. But it can throw people off because they're just not used to it.
Okay.
But other than that, it's been a pretty smooth tournament. No issues whatsoever. It's the minor, the regular, pairing. A result was reported incorrectly, but yeah, that's something we can fix easily. And
Right.
but yeah, no, everything was smooth. Round started on time. Yeah.
And may the best team win.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough.
Berkeley Chess School is well represented here in the top 2 boards. I mean, top 2 team matches.
Yeah, and as you would expect, I mean, those are probably 2 of the strongest teams. One of the matches last night, Rouse's is my second, with Keaton Kira and Chiron Griffith, who plays the mechanics all the time.
Oh, how did that game go? How
Wow,
did Chiron's game go?
that was a fantastic match to watch because
He won it in the end.
he won it in the end, but the drama inside the room and the table,
Amazing.
because their board 4, who's 1400 rated, was playing Omya, who's like 1819.
Right.
And he got to a position, I don't know if you guys were watching it and following
We
it.
did.
But he looked like he was about to
mate.
checkmate.
Yeah. That
He
game
was
was a
completely
tragedy.
Completely
Yeah.
winning. And the funny, because all the players from the other 3 games on that table were, even on their move, were fixated on what was going on board 4.
Sure.
Right, because you could see the drama. And, he didn't convert, and this is the thing, a 2300 would have seen, how to finish it off, but 1400, even
Maybe.
to get to that position, and maybe, right? Exactly. But it's complex. So there's actually a lot on the shoulders of the lower rated, in those situations. So
Sure.
it actually creates a whole lot of pressure, even though this tournament's supposed to be fun and casual. It gets those moments where that player knows that, my team is counting on me to convert this, and then when it doesn't happen, they have to shake it off and then come back and play the next day. And it's also up to their team to kind of settle them in and, say good job, come back for the next one, because they're going to have to count on them for 2 more games, right? So I think there's a lot of psychology involved, and you have to be sort of sensitive to it, because it is a team competition. You never know who's that player that's going to get in trouble and is going to need to pick up the team. And maybe this player, Oren, who played phenomenal chess, just didn't convert at the end. He might be the one that in a later round brings it home for the team when they need. You never know how it's going to go. So that's one of the exciting dramas of the team tournament.
All right.
Well, we have a big round. It's not the last round, but this is a big round.
Yeah.
And the top board, we have 1 leader. The what is the name? The Woo. The
Can
we woo it?
BCS, Berkeley Chess School, can we woo it?
And this is the top. We can go to the top
they're
board.
they're
Shall we
in
look at
clear
it?
first place, half a point ahead
And-
of the
yeah.
other team.
And they're the only ones.
Let's
the only
take a
ones in
look
clear
at
first.
the game here.
So a victory by them this
Would be
now
huge.
in the
Huge.
5th round.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be huge, because then they would, a victory by any margin in the last round would give it to them.
All right, folks. This is the beginning of All Too Human commentary by Nick Firmian and Paul Whitehead. We're not using a chess computer, so
The computer
Be
wouldn't
nice.
help much here. Poor Rochelle is suffering in this position.
right. But so how
How's suffering?
You see that bishop on d5, kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
radiating power. So
Sure.
pawn to b5 is coming.
right?
And you'll have some options, either pawn to b4 or king a6, rook b8. And black is
Black is
has
trying
got
to
an
edge
extra
in.
pawn there.
Yep.
So,
Oh, yeah.
she's bishops of opposite color, you say, oh, fine, but no, this
Some
one is
difficulties
this is
for white here.
suffering.
Shall we take a quick run through the game, just really quick, Nick, so before we move on to the next game?
And in the team tournament, part of the strategy is, so when you encounter like a board one where it's GM against, WIM, sort of the goal for Rochelle is, can I hold a draw? Like that's her strategy and goal, is to hold a draw and then have the middle players kind of carry it. And I think they play in a manner that can kind of bring that result.
Well, we have a Queen's Gambit accepted with E4, so I'm not
This is theory.
theory. Still quite theoretical here, Nick, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We're asking the MCO.
Yeah.
So,
I'd rather ask the Chess for Dummies author.
He's not here. Yeah, he's not making it today.
Yeah. What about Bishop E3? That looks a little neither here nor there.
well, you have to
Yeah.
develop. It's good to hold that D4
That's
point.
true. Okay. I'll bow to. Black's playing aggressively, and starting operations around the D5 square
Yeah.
or the D3 square.
Yeah, I'm not so sure there's I would have put a rook on C1, but
And A4 could run into some positional
you want to open things up on the queen side there. So
for white.
yeah, I
So
think
rook
she's
C1 perhaps here.
yeah, or even before rook D1. She has a little initiative, but now
She doesn't need
Stephen's-
her rook on D1.
Yeah, Stephen's defending well. He's holding the queenside squares, and if he does that, he's got good chances. He can slowly work on the other parts of the board.
Right. So A4 maybe is the wrong plan here.
Well, you want to open line somehow.
Right.
And,
And A5 keeps A5 for black, I think, was a good move.
Black owns the B4 square.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's a good knight
Active
there.
move.
Rook on the C file, anybody?
I'm not sure about this knight takes D5, right? What about knight B5 or something like that?
Yes,
And then rook C1
or rook C1 first.
yeah, or rook C1 first.
But let's see, it's still
Okay. Knight
probably
D5,
do all that stuff as
knight
it
D5.
develops.
Here comes the rook to C1.
But how do you break through? And that's, yeah, it's. I think you're right. Exchanging knights on D5 wasn't so clever.
I'm very rarely right, so it's nice to hear you say that, Nick. White just doesn't have enough in here.
It needs to do something.
Right.
Ooh, that's strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then that D5 square is a really solid square for black, and if you give up that, how are you going to attack?
Yeah, I feel like she's trying to bail out in a way.
Yeah.
She's playing a little passively. Yes.
I'm trying to go to rook b3. Now it doesn't matter.
And black probably has to take on C5 at some point. Yeah, rook B3 is a threat, that's true. So, but bishop C5 suits black here, especially when the black bishop is going to take up residence at D5, and maybe there was a way for white to prevent that. But
Yes, and there doesn't seem to be any way for white to really attack in this position. And that means the endgame where black is slightly better.
and that's exactly what happens here. White trades, but this endgame is no bargain. Even though it's bishops of opposite colors, black is
Trying to
pressing.
break through.
Now, I felt she should have moved the king around to E2, D1, C2 to help in the defense there. That's the weak side of the board. So put the king to work.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see Stephen try to grind it out.
Okay.
And actually, Steven's got a reputation for endgame play. I think his coach, F-Pawn, has said that.
Well, if you can't believe F-Pawn, who can you believe?
Yeah, no.
Another bishops of opposite color situation
Derek.
on the second board of this match.
Although black's up a pawn.
The other half of the Wu clan, Derek Wu, is...
Is it 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 4?
Oh, I love that. If I could just put that bishop on d6, I feel very solid.
White should maybe think about playing d6 himself, huh? Maybe. To unleash the bishop, but it does give away the passed d pawn.
I think I would do that. d6, bishop takes d6, bishop takes f7. You're pawn down, but it's an open board.
Uh-huh.
If that bishop gets to d6, pawn to f5, black's got this very solid
kind of
initiative.
attacking.
See, because queen takes f7, rook takes d6
Yeah,
in that variation.
yeah. Sort of equal chances, huh? Shall we go?
Little better for black.
A little better for black. Let's go on to board 3, where the hero of the Berkeley chess team, I'm going to try pronouncing her name, Sakhan Shemeg Sogseikan versus Michael Tang. And what do you think of this position, Nick?
I think black is very solid,
Yeah.
so no advantage at all.
And actually,
No.
if you look at the time, he was a player that suffered that time penalty, but he's got 10 minutes left compared to an hour 11 for white.
Is that white? No, that's black's time. Black has an hour and 11 minutes.
Oh,
and,
wow, that's right. It's the other way
and
around.
it's like Hanshemeg that's
So he's
using
actually-
all of her
He's
time.
actually only used, wow. Yeah.
So we're able to see the times elapsing. You can also at home by going to chess24.com and seeing the cyber analysis here.
Michael Tang's a player that I used to play frequently, and then I think lately he hasn't been playing that much, or at least that I've seen, because I think school's a factor.
How old is he?
He's a high schooler.
Well, he's certainly doing fine in this game. This game looks, although it does have that bishops of opposite colors feel to it as well, which is a theme so far in all these games.
3 games of bishops of
Right.
opposite color in this match.
Right. Okay, here is a knight and a bishop of opposite colors. This is board 4. Let's go back to the beginning of this game, Nick, if you don't mind doing that. It's a Benoni with white not playing c4. And black can get into trouble in this opening.
Well, still,
Right.
it's an attempt to win on the black side.
Right,
Little
that's
risky,
true.
but
Right.
it's.
I find the most dangerous method for white is to play like bishop b5 check and a4, not f4, usually, but that's just my blitz chess experience.
Wow, still, I have to support Brian Doyle playing a Benoni type position.
Yeah.
It's
And now here comes b5.
Now this would be a position where Brian Doyle figures he's got to win, because they're counting on him to win this game.
Right.
how many points higher rated is he?
He's a good 100
200,
points.
about
Yeah,
200 actually.
points.
Okay, yes, it definitely
Omnia
is.
is an A player, and Brian is a strong expert.
And this would be if they're facing off during a round of a tournament. You know, he might draw, he might not draw, but you know he'll just be playing chess. But in this scenario, the team's actually counting on Brian to win this game because of the the matchups and the other boards. So he's got to play in a style that would kind of be not necessarily passive.
He's doing fine in this game to
Yeah.
unbalance things.
He's got play on the queen side, and White's a long ways from getting a real attack on the king side.
Right. Both players are kind of keeping the balance. No, nobody's burning their bridges to it, and that's a very careful move, taking back with the c pawn. I guess if you take with the a pawn, black could have a potential passed a pawn.
Yeah, I might have taken with the a pawn. I don't like what happens. Now comes b4, and then you start to look at a color complex.
Right. Okay. Boom, boom. Nice move, obviously. No, is there any little combination here?
No
Yeah.
knight takes c4s or
Yeah,
anything.
Yeah, okay. So knight d4, queen d4. And these positions are always a little better for black, for sure.
Yeah, that knight on c5 you can't get rid of.
Maybe white should be thinking of playing rook e1 and e5. I don't know.
Or bishop g4.
Yeah. And this gives a chance to play bishop g4. Now, I guess black could just play rook takes rook and then
And
the
then
knight
knight
back
C.
to c5 or something.
Yes, yes. Was strange.
Yeah. White's not afraid, and so now can white play rook c6? That would definitely occur to me.
Yeah.
And that's what she does, and that seems to be a victory for white. If I was black, I might have played my knight to c5.
Yes, yes. Let's see how Brian reacts to this. He's
I think that's
He's
where we're
thinking.
at.
Oh, we're at here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because taking that rook on c6, the pawn becomes strong. The bishop can open up with e5. Actually, e5 is coming.
So rook c6, dc6, rook c8, e5, d5.
Would get you to a rook ending
Bishop
after
g5,
bishop
knight
takes.
g5, rook g5, rook c6, rook a5. White's winning a pawn in that situation.
So I think you're right that his knight to b6 was simply an error.
Yeah.
So, so where does black have to kind of plant the knight to defend after like an e5 push?
Well, black, that's rook b6 is threatened. So black got himself in a pickle here. Maybe knight goes back to d7 and then you play knight c5 on the next move.
Well, bishop c4.
Oh, bishop g4, yeah.
g4, yeah. Well, so that was a mistake
Just
by
difficult,
Brian.
yeah, just unnecessarily sort of.
Like I said, this is like a great. I mean, the result's it's not finished, but this is a great comeback game from Omia, who was like almost certain defeat to a much lower rated player, and now it looks like she's
Well,
playing
she
pretty
never
strong.
was in serious danger. She was just kind of content to see what Brian would do, I think.
But the last round she was
The last
in.
round.
Oh, in the last round, right. Yeah.
Well, she's a resourceful player. She doesn't
Yeah.
mind being down.
No, she is resourceful.
Oh.
So in this position,
Just-
black should just return the knight to c5.
Rook takes rook and knight c5.
Yeah.
And black is slightly
Black
better.
is definitely better. This is a mistaken direction.
So-
A Go player
oh.
would say that's a mistaken direction by playing knight b6.
And we have a Go table and some books
Yeah,
inside the
come
chess
to-
club at the Mechanics
Come to the
Institute.
Mechanics Institute and play a game of Go.
Just the other day, I saw some Go. What do they call the pieces?
Stones.
Stones. I
Yeah.
saw the stones on the board, and Paul was playing.
I was playing with out of a game out of a book.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay, well, we'll see what Brian can
All
come
right,
up
so
with.
this
He's
is-
down on time already, too.
Yeah. So there's some difficulty for the Berkeley Chess School Can We Woo It team. All right, let's go to the next
second
matchup.
match, yes.
The second Berkeley.
The second Berkeley chess team. This is Gabriel Bick for Best Chess School, Berkeley Best versus the Power Monks, Jimmy Dean.
James Dean.
James Dean.
And actually, that team registered on site yesterday.
And they're doing well. They have three
Yeah.
and a half. They have 3 masters on their team.
And we were almost full. I actually had to confirm whether we could actually take that entry because we thought we were packed, but we got them in and they're making their move.
This is another weird balance of power here with both of these teams have 3.5. The Berkeley Chess School has, if you look up here,
They're front loaded.
they have IM, Bick, Jarosak, and FIDE Master Tagazadeh.
Their third board is like almost 2,400.
Yeah.
Right.
But then they
So-
drop considerably on their 4th board,
Yeah.
who's a 1,400
So
player.
just for viewers to know, so we have a rule that the difference between like a 3rd and 4th board cannot be greater than 1,000 points. So I guess what happened in a tournament in the East one year is they had 3 super GMs, 3 2,600,
Guaranteed to win every
2,700,
game.
and then they would have like a 400 on their board, something of that nature.
Huh.
So we have this rule. So like even if like Ryan Tagazadeh, I think he's like 23, whatever, 70.
2407.
2407. So their 4th board is like 1420. So it's within that 1,000.
Yeah, actually, Lemkin playing for the Berkeley Chess School is 1460, and he's
Yeah.
playing Drew Hollenberger, who's rated 2045. So that's a 600 point difference.
And that's where that last game is sort of considered, you know what, if we get a draw, that is the greatest thing that ever happened.
Sure.
But they're counting on that player to lose and counting on their top 3 boards to carry him.
Right. So let's see how that strategy
Yes,
is working.
let's see how the underdog is
So
doing.
I'm going to get back to the tournament hall.
All right.
I'm going to let you
Bye,
guys
Abel.
take it
See you in
easy.
a
Good
bit.
luck. We will be back later. And then when teams finish, I'll bring them over.
If you think that they're photogenic.
If they're worth-
Okay, Nick, here we go. Gabriel Bick and James Dean. Tell me if you.
The 2 nights variation of the Caro-Kann, Fischer once played it against Petrosian. That's unusual. You can just double the pawns with knight f6, but
Counting on black playing knight bd7 here,
okay.
right? And knight fd7 is not a bad move.
Okay, good chances for checkmate next move.
Yeah,
but
checkmate in 1.
Unfortunately,
Black saw it.
Gabriel, yes, got rid of the offensive knight,
Okay.
and he's equalized already.
Well, black is doing fine here. White sidesteps the trade of queens, probably just to keep. Oh, threatens bishop c4. We've got some. And black is persistent here. And as is white. This has really been nothing for white.
Yes, he's
And
just,
even queen c2 was possible, I suppose.
yes, greed. I would have taken that.
Queen
I think
takes c2 here.
because those Caro-Kann positions, they're hard to break down. So if you can grab a pawn and run away,
Okay, queen e6.
black has respect for his IM opponent.
Yeah. So it's unbalanced, a kind of an unbalanced structure. And white is not really giving away the c pawn here.
Because pawn to d3
Pawn
would
to
trap the
d3,
bishop.
trap the bishop.
Pawn to, oh, okay. He didn't grab the g7 pawn because he
Rook g8, I guess.
G8, rook
Black got
takes
frisky.
c2. Oh, that's a nice move. Bishop f6, countering that strong bishop.
And now black is playing a reasonable game here.
Oh, yes, yes. And the, yes, the black king can stay in the center. Is e4 a move? Oh, interesting.
What a shot.
What a shot by Gabriel Bick. Okay, he's got to take it. Rook takes.
Right.
And he is a pawn up in the endgame. Okay, that is a real pawn.
Well done by white there. So maybe black was being a little too.
Yeah, he needed one more move to make everything solid. Knight f6 was.
Didn't quite work after knight e6. And what about the result? What about the resulting position? Oh, black just played b5 as well.
Well, b5 is good to
7.
hold up the a pawn advancing.
You think that black should play b5 here, huh?
Well, yes. So how do you guard?
Yeah.
If you guard all your pawns, maybe
What a
pawn.
demoralizing position.
Okay, let's see though. b5 and king. Rook to f8, f5.
Black is trying to hold here.
Yes, it's very unpleasant. That's true.
Okay, let's move on. This is board 2. We have international master Lottie Jurasek, black for best Berkeley chess, best chess school, against Stephen Kuklev, who's a master. And we have an hyper-accelerated dragon.
Well, yeah, from this c3 Sicilian.
Right. Nick's drinking some coffee. So am I. Yeah, we're imbibing the coffee
Well,
bean.
we want to pay attention to these games. To me, the last round is, of course, the money round, but the one leading up to it, sometimes that just is the one you cash in on. Now, here, white has the two bishops. I guess black needs some sort of break.
B5, knight b6, knight c4.
That's possible. Also f6.
Right.
Just to, oh, now that was strange, queen e2. I'm not sure what it does, but.
It overprotects that e5 pawn.
Okay. See, now you could play f6. That's,
Right.
okay, rook do you
And
want?
white's playing very consistent strategy here. Black feels it's time to play f5. He might be right.
Yeah, knight g4 is coming. If you give white time, white will simply get an attack
Yeah.
with that wedge in the center.
So white has to take here, right?
It looks like he should take,
And
certainly.
he does.
Yes. And then maybe, oh, he could have gone knight g4 also. But white must be a little better here.
Yeah. And that works tactically right now because
Wow.
black can't take on e5.
All right, now white has to slow down. a little bit.
Excuse me, everybody. That move made me sneeze. So, yeah, everybody's slowed down a little. You always like the player with the attacking stance, so sort of white for choice here, just
White's got those two bishops.
Yeah.
He's got,
h4 maybe or something like that. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what he played, as though I can read his mind.
yes, but the h4 is a tricky move that, you need to follow it up. And
And
yeah, it seems to me
c1
he's-
does the wrong way to go.
he's drifting a bit.
Right.
I think now black is,
So what was the right move here to be consistent? Bishop f4 or something like along those lines?
yes, something's,
Or h5? No.
I don't like h4 because I don't have the follow-up right
Okay,
away.
I see.
And I don't want to go g4. That's too loosening.
So maybe h4 was the wrong idea.
Yeah, he had a good advantage here. You could even go knight to g. I thought he should have gone knight to g4, exchange the knight, and then go h4.
There you go.
h5.
Okay.
you break that down.
This is very valuable to learn how you would try to approach these positions. They're not easy all the time. This is where a grandmaster such as yourself would know how to proceed, sort of, or have more ideas, whereas a master might get an h4 is not maybe quick enough.
Yeah, because if that pawn just stops,
Right.
then
what?
you've made a weakening. And
Right. Okay.
Rook c1, yeah, that you don't really want to trade rooks on the c file. On the other hand, is that actually threatening to win a pawn? Knight takes c6 and queen a6.
Queen a6, yeah. And the rook wasn't doing much on d1, but yeah, it's complex. It's complex.
Okay, that has a real idea on the queen side, so.
Okay. All right, let's move on. That was board 2 of the match, Best Chess School versus Power Monks. Here we have on the third board for Best Chess School, Rayan Tagazadeh, who outranks his opponent by a couple of hundred points. These are both masters, with Ryan being a 2400 player and a FIDE master.
And it's, yes, exchange, Caro Khan. The black is equal in this position.
And white plays bishop e3, which
That's odd.
that is very odd and
You would
certainly
think
not a
you-
move I would have played.
You
or
could go back to
considered.
g3 at least and
Right.
contest the dark squares.
So black is certainly even here. And this is another strange move,
Okay, but nothing too much is happening here.
right? And black decides to mix it up with e5, doesn't have to, obviously.
He could have gone on the queen side looking for b5.
Minority attack or
Yeah.
something, but this is,
Very direct.
you know.
Yes.
No, that's a good move, I
It's
guess.
strange he allowed that isolated pawn. He could have
Although white can play bishop f4 here.
bishop f4. Okay.
And that's what he does.
All right, avoiding the isolated pawn.
Right. So,
All right.
an equal position,
Equal position.
An equal
Back's
position.
A tad more active, but has the isolated pawn.
right? This is the kind of position that Karpov kept trying to win against Korchnoi, right? In their match, right?
Yes.
And was unable to win a single game.
Although each time Korchnoi was suffering. And now, okay, it's nice. The exchange makes it a little better for the
For white.
white side. Yes.
Okay.
Nice spot on d4 for the white knight.
Black is probing around with his more active queen.
Okay, but maybe kick that knight. Yes, good. You're not getting checkmated, so.
So does Black want to bring the knight around d6 to c4? Black has played this pretty well, I think. I mean, white can't have that much here.
It's true. Knight d6, c4 is a real plan.
All right, white is slightly better. Shall we move on?
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll predict a draw in this game.
Okay, that is board 3. And now the big imbalance in terms of rating. Drew Hollenberger, expert, versus Ben Lampkin, a C-ranked player. This is what happens when you load up the top boards with international masters and FIDE masters. All right, what do you know about this? This white plays CD5, a Tarrasch. Normally black takes back with the knight or with the pawn here, but plays instead C takes D4. Is this some kind of gambit?
Yeah, it's a kind of gambit here.
Yeah.
You don't check and so Oh, well, that's threatening bishop f7, but bishop e3. Okay.
Sharp game here, folks.
Yes, it's some nice development for black. And here he doubles.
No?
Oh, he couldn't.
Could've-
Sorry, he couldn't go bishop e3 because the queen.
Queen
was-
e4 check. Oh, queen is hanging at a5, yeah. Maybe queen, why was queen, oh, if bishop takes e3, then queen e4 check and taking on e3 with the queen? Maybe black is just not doing that well here.
Perhaps black should just castle. He's
Yeah, there you
ahead
go.
in development.
There you go, castle.
You know, how does white develop these pieces? The f1 bishop. So play
Yeah.
like Morphy. Don't worry about the pawn.
Right.
But this action, now the bishops are getting exchanged. Oh,
White tries something even maybe better. Coming into, oh, this is a
Wow.
disaster for black.
Okay, did he have to play queen e6? If queen b4 check bishop d2 and you're...
So black missed the boat here by not just castling.
What a
Yeah.
move, knight c4. You have to say,
Yeah.
Drew Hollenberger, he doesn't care about development, but he plays these good moves, and there's
Yeah.
no place for that black queen.
Okay.
So
Black-
here is a pawn upending, and that's the story.
Yeah. Black is making more trouble for himself. Well, maybe he's actually doing as best as he can here.
Okay, but yes, so that,
White's doing very well here.
and white is the higher rated player.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
How about we go down and see on some of the lower boards? There was a great pairing, wasn't there, on the?
Well, we're getting to all of the boards. We're going now to the next matchup, which is Rouse's Is My Second versus Excel Chess Club Team 5.
Okay, well have.
Do you want to look at that match?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. The next match up is Keaton Kira. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Keaton. Kira, International Master versus Grandmaster Enrico Sevillano. And here we go.
Oh, we are drinking coffee, gentlemen. If you're
Yeah.
asking that point.
That's what I answered that earlier on in the day. Catalan.
Yeah, Catalan. Okay.
And this looks like a sharp line too.
D1. So you get your pawn back. And white's got a little edge here, but
Right.
nothing too big.
And that's an active move for sure.
Okay, well, no time to discover on the queen because your queen is attacked.
And Queen A7 loses the queen to Rook A8.
Queen A7, Rook A8,
Yeah,
and
that would be
no good discovers. So.
right.
So nice move by Sevillano, and with that he offers a draw, which
Are you sure? Oh yeah, which was accepted. Look at that. So this game, Sevillano's been taking it easy the last couple of rounds and letting his teammates do all the work. He had that big win over Gabriel Bick a couple of rounds ago.
when it counted, he really worked and ground out a win from
Right.
a slightly inferior endgame. And here he's a tad worse with black against a good international master. He says, let's just make a draw.
Okay. I guess black maybe is doing okay here, huh? Knight C5, where's white queen going to go?
Probably has to go back to C2.
Right, and then black could play queen A5 or queen B6 or something.
Yes, nothing special happening.
Okay, that game is a draw. And okay, Let's go down to their board 4, where this XL Chess Club Team 5, led by Saviano, and 3 strong A players. One of them who has won their game, Ashik Uzaman.
Who so far has been the league MVP.
Yeah, I think he's winning all his games. On board 4, he's been a complete monster. Let's take a look at this game. He did outrate Oren Woll by 500 rating points.
Now, Oren had that terrific game yesterday, winning the game, but let it slip up, and which was tragic against an opponent rated 500 points more.
Right.
And so maybe he was a little discouraged today.
What do you think of this white bishop c4 move? Is that just a waste of time?
Well, the bishop's not really doing much on d7, so you didn't lose much of a tempo.
Okay.
And I guess this is the point when you hit d6. Now, if the bishop were on c8, that d6 would be defended.
Very sneaky, I guess. Queen b8?
Which seems fine. This
a4,
black
a6,
is doing
and
okay.
we're back. a2, c7, c3. Black has a chance to play d5
could
here.
do d5, could do b5. Black is quite okay.
Black is doing well here. Opts for b5.
Now,
Now
d5, why not just continue with b4 if you push that up and
I like that, yeah.
put that bishop on g7 to work.
Okay.
So d5, okay, maybe that's all right.
The c5 pawn is attacked, and black goes ahead with this. All right, the structure changes.
Now, black could easily go c takes d3, bishop takes d3, pawn takes e4, bishop takes e4, and have a perfectly sound pawn structure.
Right, you could even continue with b4 in that position.
Maybe even a little better.
Yeah. Instead,
b4 is very sharp.
And white takes on c4.
Okay, it still seems okay, but now at least white has those pawns on e4 and f4, which can be attacking.
Does have to worry about pawn to b3.
He does indeed.
But he's got the idea of playing bishop d6 here, and
so bishop d6, pawn takes c,
yeah.
And
white could be in trouble in an endgame here.
white has to worry that bishop on b1 can come to life. I guess you always have pawn to
e5.
But now, oh, I don't like that move.
Yeah.
I don't like that move.
Black is, everything is defended here, right? So is knight b5 an idea for
Knight
white here?
b5 is an idea, but that seems to be the only idea.
Knight c8. What should black be trying to do here? Play rook a1 and tie white up in a million pieces.
Rook a1 is very interesting. Yes, yes. Just try to keep white bottled up.
Right. Oh, that was my telephone.
All right, just tell Magnus he has to wait.
Yeah, let's see. Is this Carlson? I have a message here. You know, Carlson, I can't respond to you right now. And white plays pawn takes.
And now white has this mobile pawn center.
And he's able to play knight c3.
Oh, things look so much better for white after that
The
move.
knight on c6 is attacked. Black went a little off the rails here. Not every exchange is a good exchange.
Threatening the c4 pawn.
Threatening the c4 pawn, and the black bishop is just completely out of the game now, and white opens up with f5. That's probably well timed.
Yes,
So-
now that bishop on b1 is a terrific piece,
Jeez.
and the attack is raging.
Knight d5 is coming. The exchange of the dark squared bishop. Black is Black has no hope here. This is very direct here.
Check.
Yuck.
This is the end.
Rookie one check looked pretty strong there too.
Well, lots of strong moves.
Black.
Looking for a back rank mate.
There you go. If Rook F4, Rook A1, White sees it, of course.
Now you
And,
could go Rook takes E7.
I think
but-
Rook E6 check and Queen E7 mate.
Yes, that would be a quick mate, but taking the rook is
Seeing the rook is not bad.
perfectly fine. Threatening mate with rook A8. Okay. A little
Okay,
humor
a little
to end the
humor.
game.
Okay, so that means that the Excel chess team led by Saviano is doing very well. And but Kyron Griffith has won for the Rouses is my second. So everything is going to depend on this game. We'll look at Kyron's game in a minute. This is Gabriel Sam, who is playing for Rouses is my second. He's a national master, rated 2358, and he's playing Aksithi Eswaran, rated 1965. So this is the game that's going to
Decide the
decide
match.
the match.
And a Sveshnikov Sicilian.
A kind of a quiet variation.
Yes, well, not the main line, but sort of one of the secondary lines. And here, White has gotten a bit of a bind.
Yeah.
That's owning this D5 square.
Okay, let's see how that goes.
Okay, you don't have to break on the queen side there. You could go B4, A4, hold the...
B4 and A4, I like that. I like that plan.
Because that's where your advantage with that D5 knight is.
F4,
F4 opens the king side, so this becomes very sharp. And Black likes a sharp position from this opening.
this is well played by Black to bring the bishop back like that, I think. Knight
Ooh.
B4,
What kind of move is
that
that?
actually could work.
Oh,
but I
pawn
don't,
takes B4, bishop D4, check.
and if Knight B4, Queen B6. White just plays A5.
Holding on to, but this,
So it's possible to take here and really have the two bishops.
except that knight on D5 is a monster piece.
Knight D3, Queen D3, F5 maybe. Yeah.
You could. Yes, you could play the two bishops against the monster knights.
Yeah. Okay.
But this ensures White doesn't get a knight on D5.
Right.
Nonetheless, okay, that's White's a little weak because of that pawn F4 move,
Yep.
but the knight's as good as the bishop.
This is well played by Black here to get some play.
Queen G3. Yes.
And White is thinking. So this is a very sharp game here in the. So what about rook E1 and rook E8 and rook E1?
Yes, trade rooks twice, maybe Queen G4 check, Queen
Oh, Queen
G3,
right.
Queen D1 check.
Is White getting anywhere with that? Maybe not.
Yeah, Black's a tad better here.
How about that, folks? The women's candidate master, Aksithi Eswaran, is holding the 2350 player, Gabriel Sam, and keeping Excel Chess Club team's hopes alive in the fifth round here, because Kyron Griffith beat Errol Viswanathan in this game. This is the final position. Shall we see how
Kyron is playing his endgames really well this tournament.
Let's take a
Last
look
night he ground down that bishops of opposite color ending.
Yeah. And we have this knight c3 London system again. Chiron plays the openings very well, I've noticed, or he's very booked up in the openings, so he knows, kind of knows what he's doing. Knight e8's an interesting move here.
Curious move, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wants to play pawn to e5.
Oh, now that's, instead of just defending with pawn to c3, holding the center, a rule hits back. Kind of interesting, just
Yeah, sharp move.
trying to loosen up the black pawns in the center.
Right. That's a nice reply.
Having none of it, not
Yeah.
pawn takes c4, pawn takes
Right.
c5.
That's a good move.
And yes, those black center pawns seem strong. White's not able to attack them.
White's going on a little fishing expedition. Knight d4,
Stops
blocks
bishop
the
to
d file.
c6.
Yeah,
And black is
nice
starting
active move.
to consolidate.
I guess if knight d7, you could just take on b2, I guess. Doesn't have bishop e6 check, knight e6.
Yes, or it was also queen a5, knight takes rook on f8. Oh no, sorry, the bishop on a4 is guarded.
Nice active move. Look at White's pieces over here. What's going on? White trades.
And
Black's targeting f2 and b2. White tries to get out with a little tactic here. And
Oh.
Black sacks the exchange.
well, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's bishop c6 was a nice move.
And this is a nice reply, I think. What do you think of this, Nick?
It's an exchange sacrifice, and
Certainly is.
so often you look at giving the material back to get a good position, but okay, rook c1 is a very natural move.
No, bishop c7 is played. The second time that White's desperadoing a bishop here to try to get the bishop on d4.
Okay,
And another desperado sacrifice.
and then queen d4 to blockade. So should be better for white. Rook d1, you keep the blockade. Oh, why didn't you keep the blockade?
Right, rook d1.
Rook D1.
Nick, that physically hurt, didn't it? Just rook d1. This seems to give Black a little bit more to play for. Okay, but he's tempted
Yeah,
by
that was-
this continuation here.
Okay, again, you want to
Still-
guard, you want to blockade that
Right.
d pawn.
And now there's a retreat of pieces here.
Well, still, white is not worse in the endgame.
No.
Okay. Now, will white be able to get in d4 check? If so,
Should White have been able to play king d4 before Black played king e5? Maybe. There was some time lost with this rook on the f file.
yes, black has been imprecise. I didn't think that exchange sacrifice was so sound here. Oh, nice by Chiron. Just if that
Right.
bishop can get to the g4 square.
And it does.
Oh,
So-
then it guards d1. So rook c4, pawn d4 check is coming.
And,
Oh.
and this is now a weakness on the f file.
Oh, this is just hopeless
And rook f2
now.
would have been met by d4 check. This is,
The last few moves have just completely changed the game.
yeah. I think that we're seeing a difference in strength here.
Yes.
A big difference in chess understanding.
Yes, a strong endgame player against.
Yeah. Okay. This
Well-
match is up to this one game here.
Let's take one more look
We'll
at the
take
game
one more
before
look
we
at it,
go.
yeah.
Trying to trade queens.
Okay.
And Black would want to keep the queens on.
By playing queen f3 here or something.
But then
yeah.
queen back to g3.
And we have a drawn game, which should suit Gabriel Sam fine.
So
because
maybe-
Usman has won. Oh, no, the match would be a draw.
Yes.
The match would be a draw. Okay. But White's a little worse here, right? I mean,
Yeah, maybe queen h3, avoid the repetition.
Right. Hard for her to do against such a higher rated player. So we'll see what happens here.
And I want to see
Mike
the
Arnay.
third game, yes.
Okay,
let's,
this is Mike Arnay, board 1 for the Colty Club. Mike Arnay rated 2,200 against National Master Kevin Pan for Hopkins Hawks. I think these teams both have 3.5 points as well. I'm not positive about that, but they're in contention. Everybody's got 3.5 or 3 points right behind Berkeley Chess School. Can we woo it? All right, the Wu clan. All right, so this is Arnay Pan. This game ends in a draw. Let's see how this.
a solid Queen's Gambit exchange variation.
Right. What do you know about this?
Well, it's solid.
It's solid. And players agreed to a draw.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on.
Yes, all right. I think maybe they were both a little tired.
Yeah.
It's a tough.
Okay. So that was their board 1. Boards 1s are taking it easy in some of these games here. We're going to get back. We'll quickly look at these other 3 games and take a short break, and then we'll get back to roll through the games again.
Yes, see what's happening on the top board.
Okay.
I have to say though, you play this tournament, you know, it's your weekend tournament. Sometimes you're just tired, and I think it's perfectly legitimate to take a quick draw when.
Sure. Let your teammates do all the work. That's what I say.
You're rested. You're helping your teammates because you're more rested for the next round.
That's a good point. I mean,
you're here to
Sevillano's the
enjoy
kind
yourself.
That's right. Sevillano's a player that you want to be in a must-win situation with, I guess, at some point. Okay, we have a Najdorf with Queen E2. That's an old idea, isn't it?
And been played more recently too.
Right.
Just-
And Stephen, he is playing White for the Hopkins Hawks versus Mike Splain. So they have Mike Arnay and Mike Splain, 2 Mikes on the top 2 boards, the Colty Club. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is the third.
Mike Splain is on the Hopkins.
Oh, I
Oh,
don't.
no.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of a change here. It looks like with the we have Stephen He versus. There's been well, I'm guessing that this is Stephen He versus Juan Pereira, and Juan Pereira plays for the Colty Club.
Okay. He should have black on second board, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So they've
They've
switched up.
changed some of the pairings here from what I'm looking at on the paper. Sharp game, Nick. Notice Black's keeping his king in the center. One of the important and we've got this Bishop E1 move again. This is the way to play this for White now. This looks like the game from the other day.
They've repeated the opening.
They've repeated the opening.
Now, is it, unless there's a glitch? Yes, there seems to be a glitch because pawn to A5.
This is the same game. We're looking at a game from that was. Let's just go to the end position. Yeah. For some reason, this game has been included in this round.
So, yes, that was from last round,
That
folks.
was from the last round. Okay. Finally, then, we have Dana McKenzie versus Nicholas
Is that the,
Chang.
you know
That's
what?
also not the pairing, I think.
Okay, we have a bit of a problem in the board, 9
On the-
through 11.
Yeah, I'm not sure if these are the correct games.
Yes, so
Let's
we'll
go.
get
We'll
back
take
to
a break.
those.
We'll take a break. See if we can figure out what's going on with their Rochelle.
Oh, Rochelle's lost already.
Rochelle lost to Steven Zurich, and we're going to come back in 5 minutes and take a look at that game. We'll start off by looking at that game.
Okay.
Sound good? All right. Back with Paul Whitehead here and Nick Firmian, trying to figure out what's going on in the U.S. Amateur Team West Championship. There's a glitch on only one of the DGT boards, so we'll skip over that.
Board 14,
Board 14.
all 19 others are correct.
Right.
But we'll take a look at the other boards and especially the top match.
All right, this is Rochelle Wu playing Steven Zirk, and she lost the game. Let's see, we left off around here, right, Nick?
Yes, where she was suffering because that black bishop on d5 was such a powerhouse. And even though it's bishops of opposite color, the, oh my, what did she do? She just abandoned the
B pawn.
Okay, but that's all right. Bishop takes b3, rook takes c6 check. So Steven just sets that b pawn as a target, and the rook can't come back to c3. Oh my God. When that b pawn goes, the a pawn
King
goes.
b7 is coming up, and then no defense to this pawn. So
Well,
rook
that was
c5 is a
blunder.
blunder.
She needed to go, I think, king to e2, try to get the king over to c2, if pawn to b4, rook to d3 or e3, and she's just still in the game.
So it's a bit of a trap. Black sets a trap in a way.
Well, I think she just trapped herself. Rook c5 is
So if
a
king
terrible
e2,
move.
what is black going to do? Is play b takes a4 and rook b8, but then rook c5.
Yes, then the black a pawn's a target. and
Right.
You just have to get rid of that to draw the game.
Right.
So maybe rook b8 anyway, and king to d1. Then you can exchange on a4 and play rook b4.
White could have
Yes.
some play, something based on, Anyway, let's see what happened here. There was a quick finish. Rook c5. White wants to play rook b2. And black says, go ahead, take on c6 because...
Two connected pass pawns.
And notice if rook d6, bishop a4 prevents rook d7 check. This is looking grim.
Yeah, there's no way out with those two pawns.
And maybe white should have tried to play d5 here.
Yes, at least make use of that
Or then
d
king
pawn.
b6. But then maybe king d4. I don't know. I mean, this is... Rochelle is playing board 1 for her team, but some strong players. Black goes into the bishops of opposite color territory, which is not going to help white in this situation at all.
Yes, that's
This is just,
two connected pass pawns. You can't stop them.
Right. Okay.
Well, okay.
So,
Her team is down.
Her team is down 1, and on board 2,
Let's see if her brother can make things up.
the other half of the Wu clan
Be
here.
a good brother and take care of your sister.
Okay. Complicated situation here.
He's attacking, but white is triple attacking the f5 pawn. What to do?
King g6.
King g6, you have queen to g8 check.
It's scary.
Oh, and the king could hide on h6, but then the queen comes back to, how about pawn to f4? Because rook takes f4, queen
And that's
takes
exactly what
f4.
happened. So maybe Derek is
Crushing him.
crushing Vyom Vidyathi here. That's a strong word, but
Pawn to f3 check and pawn to e3. Wow, that's
this is the revenge.
as bad as Chiron's two passed pawns.
Well, okay, let's go on to board 3, where Seikan Shemeg. So Seikan is white against Michael Tang. Oh,
Now, somehow
Somehow
White
the
got
pawn's
a pawn
gone.
out of this.
Yeah.
White's a pawn ahead.
right. How did this happen?
It was so solid for black.
Some tactical shot here. The knight ended up on e5, which is good. Let's see how this happened here. All right, we had this
Okay,
position.
the DGT board is a little screwed up.
I'm going backwards. That's why. We had this position. I think we were looking at this. Okay.
Okay, we're going forward now.
Yeah. Toying with the idea of playing g4, maybe? Pawn to g4?
Pawn to
here?
g4 to play rook h8, mate. Yes,
Yeah.
that's a threat.
Black is back that way, and White's continuing to try little things here.
It still looks extremely solid for black.
Yeah. Now up comes the knight, threatening knight c4, and when the knight goes to c4 into e5, that was well done by White. I mean, this knight is now in position to try something.
What would have happened on, let's see now, knight takes g6, pawn takes g6, rook takes e6. That doesn't quite work.
That's a lot of wood you're throwing onto the wood pile there, Nick.
Yes.
But it's possible, I
Okay.
suppose.
Well, let's see what happened instead.
Instead, h3,
Safe.
g5,
Oh, now that is a provocative move.
to play knight f4.
Okay. Which gets stopped.
Anyway,
Takes. And now that pawn on f4, what's it doing? Okay, rook e5, not allowing pawn to e5.
and with the idea of rook g5,
Or simply queen takes f4.
and that's what happens.
Queen takes f4
Yeah.
and bishop d6 doesn't win because of queen to e3,
Bishop g6, queen e3.
countering on the,
Black seems to have lost the thread here a little bit.
well, at least lost that pawn.
And
That
lost
was-
that pawn.
Well,
And White's putting on some pressure, putting on the Ritz here, right?
well, we have to give Sai Kanchumeg credit. She just plays and plays and,
She's down on time here.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's move 40.
Oh, okay,
So
so there's
she-
going to be a readjustment at
She's
some point.
just made the time control and we'll
Right.
get 30 more minutes.
Right, but we have to wait until the times go
Expire.
all the way down before it's added. Okay, so nothing much going on here. And on their board 4, Brian Doyle
Oh, what happened? Let's go back.
was in a bad position here and struck back with e5.
Okay, that's hitting the
Hitting
dark
the rook,
squares.
hitting the dark squares.
You like that? No en passant. Although maybe you could have taken en passant. It's en passant, pawn, rook takes, pawn to e5. Probably doesn't work. But
Takes.
rook
The
back.
white rook retreats, and now black takes here on
All right,
c6.
but at least that bishop on f3 can't.
Got stifled.
It can't open up.
That's a good move, rook c5. I like it. White looks like what is doing somewhat well here, but it's hard to say.
Okay, that's a nice bishop on b7. Okay.
Black doesn't play king e7 because of bishop c8, I guess.
Yes.
So
Right.
going after the c pawn. Oh,
Okay, but it's hard to get there. And now takes the c pawn. Interesting ending here. So the rook gets active. Oh, he didn't try to chase that rook with rook to g6. That's okay. Oh, now he didn't want to
It's an
go.
odd move.
Yes, not g5 followed by rook c3 check. I would have preferred that. But f5 is going for a passed pawn. Now, does he figure he has to win the game?
To win the match, possibly,
All right, so
because
he's
Rochelle is lost on board. But this is no way to win the game, I don't think.
well. Actually, that now
Black has some
King
chances. Look
d4.
at that, nice.
very active play by Brian. I
Right.
like that. Oh,
White's trying to break up the Yankees here, but does that lose?
oh, what a move! Pawn to f3.
Yeah.
And it's desperate because king e4 and rook c2 check is coming. So
White's thinking here.
oh, nicely played by Brian Doyle. Playing very risky in the endgame.
Yeah.
Willing to give away pawns,
Right.
but keeping
For
the
activity.
winning chances for his team.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, pawn to e4 is a killing threat here. No time
Absolutely.
for rook takes h4. No time for pawn
Amazing.
g4. So the rook has to go to g8, but then king e4
And rook check.
and rook check should just be a winning position.
Wow. Dramatic. Brian Doyle on board 4, keeping things alive.
Yes,
Let's take one quick look at Derek Wu's game here. F4 was played, White sidestepped with king h1, and then Black played f3, and now queen c6.
queen c6 is a good move.
Black can't play e3 because of queen f6 and rook f3. I
Rook f3
suppose.
with check.
Yeah.
So have to be a little careful here, but there's really no threat.
It looks good for Black.
You can go queen e5. The
Queen
rook
d4.
the rook can
Yeah.
come back to g6.
Black
So-
is doing very well here. Okay. Good chances for the Wu team to win this match.
Despite Rochelle going down so quickly on
Yeah,
board
well, it's
one.
like that's the Rochelle loses on board, holds board 1 or doesn't, and then the rest of the team comes through. But she's,
Well, so is that they're even doing well on the third board?
the third board was this game. Yeah,
She's
yeah.
got an extra pawn.
They could win this match decisively with 3 wins.
After going down 0-1, they could win it 3-0.
Queen
3-1.
d5 looks incredibly strong here.
Oh yes, queen d5 is simply the end. Pawn takes d5, rook takes e8 check, bishop h8, forced,
Bishop
rook
h8.
c8,
Yeah, there's no...
and you're doubling on the back rank and winning the
so
bishop.
queen d5 wins right away. What about bishop f2 check and queen d5?
Simply rook takes f2.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, nice shot, Paul. That's-
Queen d5. They could win on all 3 boards, and the score would be 3-1. We're predicting it looks like Can We Woo It might be 5-0 after this match.
Yeah, a commanding lead going into the final round.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see how the B team is, the other Berkeley chess team is doing. Gabriel Bick was went into this pawn up endgame versus Jimmy Dean.
And Jimmy Dean is trying to hang on. I like
Okay.
what he's done with his pawns. He's ready to exchange off any white pawn advance.
And okay. If white plays king d3, it's not advisable for black to play king d5 because of rook d7 mate.
Yes, checkmate.
We're here to show you ridiculous variations.
King d3 would just go rook d1 check.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's go to their second board. Ladia Jirasek. Oh, this has gotten kind of interesting.
A queen down, but you've got rook bishop and some passed pawns.
Let's see how this happened. Oh, this happened a long time ago.
We will, after h4, and we were criticizing that move, but rook c1.
Black played knight d4. Okay, and I see how this happened. We didn't even look at that move, Nick.
Knight takes d4, so
The bishop at b1 is lost, I suppose. And that's why black doesn't just lose outright here.
so takes a knight, but queen c1, and
And takes a bishop.
now this looks,
Great for white, doesn't it?
well, it looks quite reasonable for black.
Yeah.
You've gotten a pawn and 2 rooks for queen, but the rook on b1 is a little funny.
And in fact, oh, that is definitely it must have been queen d2. Oh, white plays bishop e3.
Okay.
There was some mistake with the DGT thing there.
d4 to play bishop takes d4, rook takes e5,
And knight
bishop
G-
takes e5, knight g4 check.
Nice.
But he overlooked queen d2, so d4 was in fact a blunder.
Was it really?
It's,
so what
it's
can,
a nice,
what can,
tricky move, but
what do you think that black can do here?
you would love to get those rooks connected. That's very true. But what can you do? Maybe you should attack that knight on e5. Queen
Play
to
knight e4 or something? Knight e4?
Queen c7 gives you a bit of play for white.
So it's not easy. Knight. What about knight e4? Queen c7.
Knight e4, queen c7. I don't think you want to give away that dark squared bishop.
And the threat is queen f7 check. Yeah. So it's critical right away.
Yes, the rook e1 was a trappy move, and bishop e3 is a very fine response. But d4 is a mistake, and
Okay, so folks, if d takes e3, queen e1, ef2, queen f2,
then knight g4 check.
knight takes g4 though.
So there's no
So yeah, you can't play that.
no tactics working for black in this
So
position.
he tries knight d5, but white's going to take that rook willy-nilly, right? And now,
Very interesting. And then bishop takes e5 check, and the bishop on e3 is attacked.
but white has f4.
So
Black's getting some pawns here.
what a
one way or another,
combination.
yeah.
Maybe, and let's see the final position also. I mean, usually you feel with a queen that you can't lose the game. You always have some perpetual.
Nice move, queen e4, obviously. It may be forced as well, so just
Nice-
in time.
nicely
Just in
blockading.
time, yeah.
But you do count the material, and by points, black is ahead. Rook, bishop, and 2 pawns for the queen. I
Well,
think,
if you can put the white king on, I'm not sure how black is going to make progress without exposing his own king,
yes, I bet this game will end up a draw.
which would be a moral victory for the white side. Here is Rayan Tagazada versus, and this is looking very good for white, I suppose.
See that white king aggressively marching up to h4.
How did this happen? Oh, this game. That was this game.
Oh, the knight should have
We
gone
thought
to
white was
c4
slightly-
instead of.
Yeah,
we
let's-
thought knight d6, knight c4, but he went knight c5,
Knight c5.
and now
White starts to kind of move in here.
and slowly advancing by white. And
That's a victory for white, I think.
oh, hitting the knight on c5.
White has to play king g3. I guess queen d2 and knight d3 would be a lot of counterplay. But I'm not sure what's going on here.
Now he's desperate. The knight on c5 is attacked, and it can't move because of knight e6 check forking. So he plays for checkmate.
Threatens checkmate.
But
And white plays this way. And another checkmate is threatened.
but a very nice defensive move, stopping the mate, and now he's 2 pawns
Two
ahead.
pawns ahead.
So this looks like it's just lost.
White could probably win by playing queen f6 check here if he had to.
Probably the knight ending is winning, that's
Yeah.
true.
Interesting.
You may have other moves too.
Okay, well that would be a win for the BCS team. And they're already doing very well on board 1, and board 2 is unclear. So this is tilting their way versus the power monks. Let's see though on the final board. Oh, this was also going very well for white. What's going on now?
I forgot where we left off.
We
in
left
this.
off with this exchange up sort
Okay,
of
yes.
position. Oh no, pawn up.
Pawn up.
Pawn
which,
up.
Turned into the exchange up. White advanced into the black camp.
Yeah, let's see how this gets. I'm going back here. We were around here somewhere. Black goes on an adventure with the knight, which just lets the white rook in. So,
Yes, he
yeah,
shouldn't have allowed
that.
And
And this is passive defense.
black, and there is the
There goes the exchange.
yes.
That was a nice little combination, straight out of the books. And there goes the e6 pawn.
So it's
Black
just
is just.
a winning ending. at
What's
this
wrong with
point.
rook b6? Probably nothing instead.
Oh,
Which-
this is also
Right.
good.
Black going on a little bit of white's finding a way to lose a pawn without having calculated it out. So white must be winning this.
This position is finished. Probably rook f7 check, king to g4.
Even king f3 here works, because if rook f4, king e3, and that might be a nice little move to prepare g4 check or rook c5 or something.
Yes, it seems various ways white can win this position.
Okay, but he's running out of time. Oh no, they've made 40 moves. Okay. So this is looking like a solid win here for the
Best
for
chess school.
for best chess school. Oh no, Power Monks Drew, that is Drew Hollenberger is for, so it actually could be a somewhat narrow win
Drew Hollenberger's fourth board for Power Monks.
for Power Monks. Yeah.
Okay, and we are predicting a win for him.
Yeah.
And what's our prediction for the other 3 boards? Ryan Tagasete
Plays for Berkeley Chess, as
And
does
we're predicting
Ladia
a win.
Jurasek. Yeah.
We're predicting a win for
right.
him.
Yeah.
And
There's Ladia's game.
this could be the decider, but we're predicting a draw.
Yeah.
For
Black is
And
solid, but so is.
Gabriel Brick and Jimmy Dean. Okay, it's a pawn.
Yeah.
It's,
White is better.
yes.
So this is a hard-fought match, and actually, right now, the Power Monks are, sort of winning it with Drew Hollenberger.
Well, they're losing on board 3.
Oh, that's true. They're losing.
So 3 and 4, they're splitting, and Jim Dean is down a pawn, and Ladia Jurasek has a queen, though he's down.
All right, let's roll to the Sevillano. Oh, this game was a draw. So what's the status of this match here? Griffith won, but Uzaman won. So this game was, yes, and Griffith won. So everything was hanging on this one game.
Let's have
This
a look.
game.
And here we liked
Black
Aksiti's
chances.
position. She was very good with the active queen and such. She has given up the D pawn.
But now White's faced with an issue here.
Queen H3 is a threat. Queen takes D6 is a threat.
Yeah, is White lost here?
Wow. Let's go back.
This looks like it's lost for White. How
Very
about that?
very tricky.
Gabriel Sam, rated 2350, is having trouble here in this tournament. This would be his second loss in a row.
Oh, Queen H3 is not the end of the world, just close.
Because of Queen G1?
Yes.
And Rook H2 is a guaranteed draw at least. But what about this knight?
And also the D5 pawn.
Yeah.
But say you go knight to E4, because I
Rook
don't like
takes E4.
Knight to C4, queen takes D5 check is even worse.
Yeah, this is just like, what has White got here? This looks hopeless.
Did he just get greedy?
Let's see what happened.
Let's go back a ways. We saw this
Yeah.
position here where White was trying to repeat moves, but the F pawn
Black is playing aggressively here. Oh, but goes back.
Oh, such a move. Rook to E8.
That's a very aggressive move here.
Very
She's
active.
playing a game here for sure.
Not defending the D6
Right.
pawn.
White
Oh,
goes
he
for
took
it.
he took the pawn. Maybe knight E3 was better. He grabs that
Under some
D
pressure,
pawn,
though.
check, and king goes there. Rook to E2. Oh, very very
Is there a
tough.
defense here?
What can you do? Queen to G1, guarding things. So even the endgame's better for Black, but
Queen D7 is even stronger. Queen B6 is forced, and then
Because,
Bishop F8. This is lost for White.
the knight cannot move because of Queen D5 check.
Queen B7 is played. Queen D6. Is that, yeah, that's forced because of Queen H3, Queen F7 check. So does White have a chance here? Black at least doesn't have mate on the board, so this is White's best try, but this must be winning for Black, or at least close to it.
Well, we can go Queen to C6.
Yeah.
Sort of offering a trade there.
Still complicated.
So you going into the ending with Queen C6 might give White some chances. What if we try
Black will probably try Queen D8 and then
the
go
only square?
right.
And Queen D8 threatens to swing out with Queen to H4. So there's no time for pawn to D6 or anything.
Also on Queen C6, Queen E7, as somebody points out.
Oh, Queen E7 is stronger. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's Queen
Boko
E7.
fan.
Queen E7. If we may have to go pawn to D6 to Queen C6, Queen E7, pawn D6.
That's going to be a winning endgame.
So yeah, then just take the pawn on D6 and say a bishop for one pawn.
Yeah, with the rook on the 7th rank.
It should, yes, that shouldn't be a problem. That's probably the best that White has, that miserable endgame.
Okay, let's take a look at some other games here. This looks like Rouse's is my second, maybe. What would be the result of this match if this was a win for White? it would be a drawn match.
Because
No, it would be one match for black, for the XL Chess Club team.
Yes, this is
And
the
would be-
deciding game
would
of the
be
match.
quite an upset. So, in terms of rating.
Well, you get those in this team tournament.
Yeah. This is
XL
an
Chess-
interesting team, like I said, with Sevillano anchored by 3 A players.
It's a nice balance the way they've done their ratings.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have good chance on the 4th board, good chance on the 1st board.
Right.
They're a little overmatched on 2 and 3, but they just need one of those players to score an upset.
Right. Interesting. Okay, so we have a board on the top board, draw on the top board of the Colty Hopkin Hawks team, and we have no idea what's happening on board 14. So let's go to board 15, which was a draw, a quick draw.
Some of these players are getting tired.
However, on board 16, Aquila Nachiapan versus Paulo Sartorio.
Santana.
Oh, Santana. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not
That
sure
was
if
a
some of
very
these.
quick game. Let's see if that actually happened.
Is there an opening trap?
Well, this is an accelerated dragon.
There's sometimes horrible opening
Okay, this white has allowed this pawn fork, so black is easily equalized
Right.
immediately. But okay, you could have gone bishop d3, and black is better already in this.
Right.
He's a pawn up, even
the
though
two
they're
bishops.
doubled. Those light squares can be a problem.
Queen a3 is awfully passive looking.
Stuck in the corner there.
Yeah.
Rook d5, nice. So if you
Positive
trade,
move.
the pawns are
That doesn't look right.
trade. Bishop e5.
Oh, that's a good move. Coming up is bishop d.
Check, nice. Put it in the corner and then pin that knight.
Right.
So nicely played by black.
Bishop
Very
e3.
principally. So bishop e3.
Oh, and that sets up bishop h3.
That's quite a threat, bishop h3. Wow. No good way to prevent it. Pawn to g4 is not very attractive. So Aguila tries to trade queens, but bishop h3 says
Anyway.
you have to go into a 2-pawn down ending, which is too much.
So he preferred queen c4.
And the attack continues. Queen f5, nice move. Rook to e1, bishop e4, and queen h5 check is coming. Check, king f1.
Keeping up the pressure there.
Yes. Extra pawn, bishop pair, the attack. Check, check. Bishop takes c5. Is that cashing in?
Bishops of opposite colors maybe will help the attack here as well, possibly.
Yes, now queen takes c5, bishop d3 check simply wins the game. So you had to go bishop takes c5.
And now
Rook
rook
to
d8.
d8.
That's a strong move.
Yes.
Bishop d4.
I'm not sure that works.
Oh,
Bishop
queen
d-
f4 check. Yeah, white's getting pushed around here. Yuck.
Well, okay.
Okay.
And that one was,
Yeah, I think that it was very difficult to defend this.
well, nice game by Paulo Santana.
Okay, let's roll on. And I'm not sure about some of the pairings for this round. They're not reflected on what we have for the team. That was the 4th board, so we're still not sure what's going on with that match. This is the final match.
The Mission Warriors
Mission
against
Warriors,
Pink
the
Fluffy Unicorn.
Pink Fluffy Unicorns.
Well, that's, I mean,
And
we
this-
have to take a look at
This game match has ended in a draw, I think. with Evan I winning for the pink fluffy unicorns. Oh no, this has ended up in a convincing win
For the pink fluffy
for
unicorn,
the pink fluffy
3-1.
unicorns. Yeah, because Henry Wang won on board 1, and Evan I won on board 3, and the other 2 games
Let's
are
take
drawn.
a look at the top
Yeah, let's do it.
board of that game.
Okay, sure.
Nathaniel Zhang against Henry Wang.
2 strong experts.
And a Dutch defense, the Staunton Gambit. Some active chess here.
This is thought to be fine for black, right?
Well, it's a tricky opening.
Yeah.
H4 was a nice move. I like this castling long.
Yeah, aggressive.
Takes. Castles, okay.
Black says, I'm not scared of no ghost.
Bishop takes. Pawn takes. Pawn to H5. Just very aggressive play by white.
Sure.
You gotta like it.
Yeah.
Pawn to F5. Takes, opening the H file, but he still has the dark squares.
Can white play queen H7 mate? Not yet.
Yes, the open H file is hard to use, but that beautiful dark squared bishop diagonal is
Right. I'm
right.
starting not to like this for white so much, despite all the, but we'll see what happens here.
Rook to B8. Okay,
Now there is a move.
a very clear plan.
B5 and B4.
Pawn to B5.
Oh, this is, even queen A7 is possible, but what does white do?
Taking a pawn, such greed. Usually I like it, but maybe just rook to B7
All right.
and then B4.
Yeah.
You could try it. Queen to H3 threatens mate, but simply rook to E8 allows the.
What happened?
He
took it.
He took the
See,
pawn.
he's listening to me.
Okay. All right. Bishop B7, even developing. Okay. So knight guard moves, so the D pawn is guarded, and Henry Wang
Yuck.
continuing with his attack.
Yeah.
What do you try? Queen to
I don't
D4?
know. White played queen A7 when he should have been trying to play queen H7. I'm looking for the humor here.
White is split, working on both sides of the
Right,
board. It's too
He
far.
thought queen A7 was queen H7. All right.
Knight E2, very sensible. And does he actually play bishop to A6? Yes. Okay.
Okay, the bishop can't be taken because of the queen on F6. So actually, that's a nice looking move
Yes.
in a way.
Pawn
Threatening
to,
to eliminate the knight at E2.
if pawn to D6, you eliminate the knight at E2, take on C3.
Yeah.
Knight E to D4, very good.
Trying to plug up the holes there.
Good
Okay.
try. But rook A8, keeping up the pressure. Gotta
Okay.
love it. And maybe Nathaniel gets a little greedy, takes a second pawn,
Okay.
trades, and
There goes the H attack on the H file is gone. If it was
now-
ever there. Somehow it looks like white's falling apart here.
yes, the
Yeah.
A2 pawn is loose.
Yeah.
A rook to C8 can be played. So he plays,
Almost an embarrassment of riches for black.
maybe he should play queen to B7. Just
Queen
to-
D7, he's taken on A7.
Okay. Yes, but that one's really too greedy.
Okay, go ahead.
You were 3 pawns up, but it's hard to survive.
All right, so what happened here? Switching the queen over.
Henry Wang doesn't care about pawns. He just wants
Queen
this.
A3 is a horrible threat, I suppose. What goes on now? Bishop
Yeah.
H6 too locks up the...
White has no attack at all, and all the black pieces
Is there
are
another
in
pawn
play.
that white can try to take?
He won't survive that
Okay,
long.
what happens?
Okay, he tries to stem it with pawn to A4, looking for a
Okay.
queen trade.
Right.
Check, king to B2, queen C4. Look at that.
Threatens
That-
queen B3, rook C2.
The knight on D4 is pinned by the bishop, so rook B3 is
Right.
just a monster threat.
There
There's
must be no defense here.
no way out.
Yeah, plays what?
Queen B5, holding as
Okay.
best he can.
And now
The combination, take the knight,
forced to take with the queen.
bishop takes, check.
Notice that
And-
rook at f1 is hanging maybe too.
So
What does white try here?
what does white try? Because if,
He has to take the bishop.
because
Otherwise rook a4 check, right?
if king to a3 guarding the,
Oh yeah, king to a3.
oh,
Queen c5.
well, then you could play rook takes a4 check, queen takes a4, bishop c5 check, and you win the queen on a4.
Nice, nice. And that's all, that's it.
So this is nothing to do but sacrifice the exchange, but it's a knight for 2 pawns, and that knight
And the
comes
attack
in.
continues.
Rook c1, queen a7.
And that had the idea of what? I'm not sure.
Rook to
Oh, of rook
b8.
b8, transferring the attack to the b file. Well played by black, I guess. Queen g3 would allow knight b5 check, I guess.
And okay, well, very nice move. You
Threatens queen b4 check.
threatens queen b4 check, indirectly
You have to
defends
be
the knight.
precise here, okay?
Very nice game by Henry Wang. Just backing up,
Queen b4.
threatening.
It's amazing
checkmate.
White's just defended as much as he has. It's incredible almost.
But rook a8.
The rook keeps switching back and forth.
And what can you do? The a4 pawn is going, takes with the queen, very accurate. And queen e4 check.
Everything is falling here.
Well, okay, now finally, black is a pawn ahead.
As well as a knight.
Well, Nathaniel seems to like the pawn so much, he decided when he's no longer got his
That was a
extra
well-played game
pawns-
by black.
Very
And
nice.
so the pink fluffy unicorns win their match. Let's go. Can we run up to the top board here? Top
Yes.
match, and we'll still see Gabriel Sam holding on versus. Oh, this is not the top match.
No, this is the
Let's-
second match.
Okay, let's
and-
go up to the top.
And he's desperately holding on. Gabriel's fighting for his team. Okay.
Derek Wu won his game.
Let's
So
see.
this
Let's see
match
the
is-
finish of that one.
Okay.
It was a. Oh,
King h1, f3, queen c6, queen d4, threatens the pawn on d5. White's just desperate here and plays bishop e6, queen g2, threatens queen
check.
g2 mate. Back.
very professional. Take the troublesome pawn, and the end game is just
Resigns.
hopeless.
Okay, well done.
Yes, very well done, Derek.
That tied the match up and got one back for the Wu clan. And this is, whoa, somehow 2 rooks versus,
Uh-oh, this is getting risky. That we saw this position
she
where
was,
you had suggested queen takes d5,
and
which
was
did
played.
happen.
So what happened? How did black
Check, and then where'd you go with the rook? I would go to
c8?
Oh, why bishop? Why did she make that move? Why not rook c8 and the other rook to e8 and just take that bishop?
Yeah, there's nothing here for,
Rook c8. You can try queen to g5 to make some
right.
mate, but then you can go bishop to d3 or b3.
Let's see what happened. Bishop b3, queen d6.
But
It looks
now
like
the
white
king
is just winning here.
No, but now the king has the h7 square. So
Right.
on rook c8, okay, this is still good, but you
Right.
could have picked up that
Picked
bishop.
up the bishop.
Ah,
Okay. All right. I still like white's game here.
okay. And what is it? 2 rooks and 2 pawns for...
White must be winning with the idea of playing rook d7 too.
Okay, still a very winning position.
So she's going to be 5-0 if she wins this game. An
Wow.
incredible tournament. Probably will definitely put her over master. And finally, we have the Doyle game. This is black hoping for perpetual check.
But yes, play pawn to...
G3 and then rook d7. Somehow white is going to win this.
Or
I
slow
think.
down.
Or slow down, yeah.
With rook d2 and pawn g3.
Okay. Finally, we have Doyle,
Oh,
who's
okay.
2 pawns ahead.
Shall we go back and see how this
Yeah, okay.
arose? It was...
Complicated.
he had played very aggressively.
Yeah, let's see how white even managed to get this far.
He did not worry about his own pawns.
Okay, we're way back. This has been a long rook and pawn ending here. F3, we were here.
And she plays
white
rook g8 as...
rook g8 force.
Oh, he took... White
Maybe
didn't-
there was no, maybe black didn't have to do that.
He could have gone king e4.
Okay.
I think would have been quicker, but let's see.
Okay, eliminating the pawn. And white comes back to the second rank, and that's probably good.
Yes.
Defense, necessary to defend. Black could have forced white back, right, by playing king e4.
King e4 and rook c2 check would have been a quick
So
finish.
maybe this
But
was inaccurate.
h4, a nice move, giving the king the f4 square.
Yeah.
And takes, and the king gets to e3. So must be winning with those 2 pawns. Tricky though.
Yeah, nice distraction. I guess that was forced. Black needed to run back like that, and then put the rook in front of the pawn, in behind the pawns.
Okay, very nice. Ready to push those pawns.
And then come over there.
And grabs this pawn. So
This
the
is
position should be winning.
This
but,
should be winning,
But it's blockaded, so it can be a little difficult.
right? And that's what apparently is going on here with white. Not sure what to do. Okay, the black king is going over to g4 and g3, where it'll be safe from the checks, the long checks.
Yes, you can give up the e pawn if the f pawn queens.
Yeah.
So the threat is king g4.
So is this straightforward win here? It looks kind of like it.
I think so. Maybe best would be like rook to the
F2 or something.
well, rook f2.
White's trying to
Then
check
rook-
on the long, give the long check here.
Yeah, I think there's various ways to win. You could move the rook out. If the king goes to g4, rook g1 check, king h3, and you're going to win by giving up the e pawn and the f pawn advancing.
Okay. Well, this could be a convincing victory for the Wu clan.
It also helps their tie breaks.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. If they'll need it.
Yeah, I think if they draw the last round, they'll be the champions.
Okay. Interesting. And this match was being won. Let's see.
The second match?
No, the XL Chess Club Team 5. Oh yeah, the second. You're right. The second match. This is Best Chess School versus Power Monks.
Okay, back to Gabriel Bick and Jim Dean. Ooh, what a move. Pawn to c5.
Trying to eliminate another.
If rook takes c5, rook takes e3.
That's what happened. But now black has a passed pawn at f4.
Black has a passed pawn. White has 2 passed pawns. Okay, he's
Putting up resistance.
struggling. Well done. If you can reduce it to just 1 pawn, then you'll make a draw.
Okay. Some rook and pawn endings here we're looking at. All right, here's Ladia Jirasak's game. Oh, wow.
Oh, bad. He gave up one of the pawns.
To get the passed g pawn.
But if king f7, there are no checks. Oh, no checks, and the pawn is coming to d2.
White needs a miracle here, I guess, or a way to... Somehow, the blockade didn't hold after queen e4. Let's see how the black made progress here.
b3.
He gave up he's going to give up the pawn, right? I'm not sure that this is what white should be doing, but he gave up
Yes.
the e-pawn.
Oh, now it looks terrible for the white side. The queen is going to have to blockade that d-pawn on d1, which, when you have such a passive queen, it shouldn't work.
Okay, so we're predicting a win for black there. And
Draw from Sevian. No, that-
Rayan, that game was won by Rayan and for Best Chess School, but won on board 4 for Power Monks.
Drew Hollenberger.
So white is the Berkeley Chess School is Best Chess School is pressing on the top 2 boards strongly. So
Yes.
we're going to probably see a win for them.
Yeah,
in
it'll
this
take
match.
a miracle defense by the Power Monks to hold both games.
This match, the Saviano, the team led by Saviano,
XL Chess Club team.
won their match against.
They have 2 heroes on boards 3 and 4 who win all their games.
National Master Gabriel Sam lost his second in a row to a player that he had ranked by hundreds of rating points. This is an A player beating a strong master, at least by rating. Relatively simple win here for black.
Yes, the white king is too exposed.
Yeah.
No problems for black.
Wow, dramatic win for the XL Chess Club team. And this other match we weren't sure about because of the weird board 14.
Well, that one we won't know about.
And this match was won, the Henry Wang, the Pink Fluffy Unicorns won their match. So let's go up to, I guess, Sai Kanchimeg's game, where she is up 3 pawns. In a bishops of opposite colors.
It is
there.
bishops of opposite color, that's true.
But this is
3 pawns is 3 pawns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
This is a trivial win.
Wow.
You don't resign, but there's
Right.
just no hope.
Okay. So obviously the rook's lined up on one of the pawns, and then that's, I guess, okay. Black bailed out. White plays a small combination here with rook f7.
Yes, and what do you do? It's
Well seen. She's playing a good game of chess here, and black has no chance in this endgame. 3 pawns down.
Mm-hmm.
Although the miracles do happen.
yeah. Don't resign.
And Brian Doyle is still trying to win this game.
King to f2.
But
Oh,
Brian
then king
Doyle
to
just
F.
needs to draw this
Oh well.
to win the match.
So the match is over on the first board, but
Yeah,
I think
incredible.
I think he'll win just for the tiebreak points.
Right. So Berkeley Chess School is Can We Woo It is going to be the
Yes, in the
They're going to
lead.
be 5-0 after this, Berkeley Chess School. Can we woo it?
Are they on the road?
Yeah.
Are they still on? Or?
I guess we'll take a break pretty soon. Is the rounds kind of...
Yeah, I'll just give a quick wrap up.
Okay.
If,
We'll give you this,
Oh, yeah.
and then we'll take a break.
yeah, sounds good.
For an indeterminate, for how long? When does the round start?
It'll be a while. There's still quite a few games
Right.
Still going. So I just all of a sudden felt very inspired to come out and join the broadcast.
Okay.
And, give you an update.
Well, the Excel Chess Club team has won.
Yeah, that was so I think it was the third board.
Yeah.
Exethius Waron beat Gabriel Sam, which was like a huge upset.
Right. Well, he's having a rough tournament.
Yeah. And I actually don't know that he's a very active player, so there might be a little bit of rust.
Right.
But yeah, that was the difference right there, because that should have been a win for Rouses.
Well, at least by
On paper.
on paper.
Yeah.
And Ashik did his part, crushing the bottom board.
Well, that's what happens when you play the TNM. You know, you play the TNM, you know, get your reps, and then
That's the Tuesday night marathon.
the Tuesday night marathon.
Right.
For those that don't know.
What's happening with the Colty team? We're having DGT issues.
Oh, is that right?
So we're not sure what happened.
Yeah, they're still battling. I'm not sure offhand, actually.
Okay.
I'll check it out.
Is Mike Arnay playing Kevin Pan in that? And did they draw that game
I think
shortly?
it's only board 14 that
Yeah,
there's
board
trouble.
14, this is not
Stephen
the
He
pairing.
and Juan Perea.
That's not the pairing.
I'd have
Because
to
this is the game from the round 3.
Okay.
But anyway, what other news are you going to bring us? How are the mechanics
We're all
teams?
human. Actually, so the junior mechanics right now, they're battling. I think 3 of the 4 games are still going,
UCB team 3.
but they're not on the
Okay.
broadcast, so
Right.
so you wouldn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm just asking informally.
Yeah, so the games look tight, which is good actually, because the UC Berkeley, the third team, is I think they outrate us on every board actually.
Do they have a 4th team? The UC
Yeah,
Berkeley?
they have 4th and a 5th.
Wow,
Yeah, they brought a lot of
incredible.
there's a lot of chess
fire.
going on at UC Berkeley.
What is UC? Oh, I see, UCB,
Hmm.
right. Their team 3 is doing better than their team 1.
And that's not
team
even
2?
all their players, because Josiah Stearman isn't playing. He's UC Berkeley,
Oh, okay, sure.
so we don't even have all their big guns.
Okay.
But some strong teams. I think the second team is going to win. And yeah,
What else is going on out there, Abel?
nothing much. We're just excuse me. We're setting up the room to prepare for the final round. So for those that don't know, so in the team tournament, there's a card we put on each table of 4 players, and each team fills out their names of who's playing board 1, 2, 3, 4.
Uh-huh.
And then when results are finished, you record the result on that sheet. So what happens is anybody that walks by the table, it's actually mostly for the teammates, the team players, but you know, even spectators and observers can actually go and walk past the table and see what the results are so far, right? So they can see, okay, you know, board 2 and 3,
Right.
1, and things like that. So what we're doing now is, as games end, you know, set the tables back, you know, pieces starting position, put the new card out for the next round. And in this final round, we're putting the Ziploc bags so that at the end we can have players help us out so we can get out of here a little bit faster.
Oh,
And have them
for the
bag the
chess sets.
pieces
Nice, nice.
after the tournament. And we've done it. Players kind of know the drill.
That's cool.
Every little volunteer help,
Yeah.
greatly appreciated.
And then you have the Tuesday night marathon tomorrow until 11
Yeah.
o'clock. I'm going to take the day off, so.
Yeah, you're taking
I'll
the
see
day off
you.
because we're not doing a broadcast
Right.
tomorrow, so it's going to be old school, you know,
Okay.
regular chess.
I have a prediction that Ashik Uzaman is going to play a brilliant game tomorrow night.
Is he playing on the TNM?
that will not be seen by anyone.
Is he playing in the Tuesday night marathon?
No, he's actually not in this one.
Right.
He did the previous, many of the previous ones.
Okay.
so we'll put, and actually for the mechanics players, we will be putting the pairings for that up tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Right.
Just in case you're out there wondering, how come my pairing's not up?
Yeah, which
They're going
I'm
up
sure,
tomorrow morning.
even though it's a holiday, I'm sure we're getting calls. It's like, where's the
Right.
pairings? But I think we have it on the website that says pairings will be up Tuesday.
Okay.
So tomorrow night, for those that tune in, there will be no broadcasting because we have all the equipment here. And we got to haul it back tomorrow
And reconnect it.
We just need to decompress. So like tomorrow would not be a good day to have to bring in a TD to rule on something because I'm already going to be a little tired and in negative mood just from all the work, and I'm likely to rule against you if you want, if you need anything. So so it'll be kind of a regular evening. You'll be off. I'll be there running the show. I actually don't know if Juan's going to be there either. We were talking about it. If we're not broadcasting, so
Right.
if he wants to like show up and play, we'll figure it out. It'll be smooth.
Nick's lecture will be going on, though, I'm
Oh,
sure.
yes.
That
Have to do that.
That show
Right.
will go on. Good. Yeah.
The Tuesday night lecture will never die.
We'll die. Even if I have to do it, I'll give that lecture.
I've done a couple of them.
But
Long time ago.
yeah, so yeah, games are winding down, and yeah, interesting scenarios for
Yeah,
directors.
I'm
coming
really
in.
proud of this Berkeley Chess Can We Woo It team. There's some
So it looks
fighters
like
on
they're
that
board
team.
3. It's all going to come down to that,
She's
right?
5-0 now, right?
Did she win?
Yeah.
She finished.
Yeah, I think she did.
Because they were playing.
Well,
no, she hasn't won yet.
Yeah.
But she's up 3 pawns
She's
in
up
an
3
end game.
pawns in an
Oh
end
yeah,
game.
that's right. Okay, wow. So they're going to be undefeated. So I guess it looks like might be playing the XL team in the final round. Although that the other BCS team, I don't know.
They were in a very good position as well.
Wow, it could be. I mean, it could even be 2 Berkeley schools
It could be.
fighting each other.
Right. Yeah.
Because they would be playing each other. There's no.
Coming up is King G8. This is completely hopeless.
King G8 and queening the H pawn.
And then Brian Doyle doesn't even have to win his last game.
Yeah,
Which
his
that
little
one might be
drawish,
over.
Or,
No, he's 2 pawns up.
Yeah, he
oh,
was 2
he's
pawns up.
wow.
But his opponent was trying for a blockade.
Oh no, it's
yeah.
all over.
No blockade.
Yeah, Rook G1 check is going to end this
Wow.
at some point.
And actually, this is huge because not only are they I guess it won't matter because they'll still be the only undefeated team.
They just dominated this LM to GM team.
But the thing is, in this scenario, because they're winning games, like
Right.
even if they draw their final round
Right.
and another
They
team
just have
catches
to not
them,
lose. Yeah.
yeah, they've accumulated so many match points that's really going to help them in the tiebreaker.
Yeah. This has been
Wow,
they
very
lost
dominant.
their top board, but they're
So-
3-0.
Who are they going to play, you think? Berkeley best chess school?
Or the XL Chess Club Team 5,
Yeah.
right? Headed by Seviano,
Oh, that's a team.
and
That's a team.
Yeah.
that's a very interesting team actually with the Grandmaster backed up by the A players.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, then we'll see a Sheik Usman against Brian Doyle. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that
would
would be some good matches. All right, folks.
All right.
We're going to take a break until what time does the next round start?
Starts at 3:30. Probably wouldn't want to start till about at least 4. Or
Okay.
Maybe 4:30. Yeah,
All
definitely
right.
4:30.
We'll be back
Fine.
4:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, the round honestly probably be more like 3:45. So yeah, 4:30.
Okay.
4:30 is perfect.
4:30 is a good time, a good start time. Okay, and we'll take a break till then. There's a few games outstanding, but they're not
And
particularly interesting
there
here.
it is, King G8,
Yeah.
and Chess 24 to follow the.
Yeah, you can follow the conclusion of these games on Chess 24
All
as
right.
well. We're going to have an incredible last round
Finale. Yeah.
finale. All right, be back at 4:30.
4:30.
Bye, everybody.
Good job, guys.